Folks, BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, UFC, and the NHL, baby. Head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use promo code BLEAV, B-L-E-A-V, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Enjoy the show. There we go. We are back, folks. Not sorry for the 2 weeks off. We had to sort some stuff out. We had to eat the Thanksgiving dinner. We had to feast, and then we just had to take some time to be ourselves in this world. But guess what? We're back with the Flypes. We don't know how long this one's going to be, but who cares? We're out here talking about your Philadelphia Hockey Flyers and whatever the hell we might want to talk about. And what an appropriate day to return to the Perbs. But December 13th, Friday the 13th.
Yeah, 13th, baby.
It's time to murder some podcasting.
Oh, yeah. And it will be murdered, Steve. I'm ready for some killing. That's
I am 100% ready for some killing right here. And
love to kill.
Love to kill. Normally I would transition to
call me Luigi because I love killing, Steve.
Oh my. I don't even know how to respond to that one. But I was going
to be like, FBI is going to listen to Flyperbole and they're going to
about time.
Mr. Quigley,
we would like
to have you in for questioning.
I've been trying to get the FBI on the Perbs, and this is the only way to do it. So, it's just a cry for attention right here. But this is normally I'd make a transition about the Flyers getting killed, but they're perfectly mediocre and in the playoff race, which is something that we will talk about. But yeah, Friday the 13th in December just feels like wrong on so many levels.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Like, it's like you're thinking about Santa Claus and you're thinking about shitty Hallmark movies, which, by the way, I don't know if it's going to be you that ends up taking it. Maybe I'll get Kelly to do it because that's always a good time. But whoever has to face down the Steve Chico Flyperbole holiday throwdown or whatever I call it.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a selection. I have to come up with the fake movies still. But I have a selection of real movies that sound incredulous. They sound absolutely ridiculous. So I am very excited. And a spoiler alert, one of them is not the one where there's a fake Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift falling in love.
Really?
Which is a thing.
Interesting. Okay.
That is 100% a thing. Brucey's excited about it. He just saw the mailman. So he's like, hey, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
It's by the way, the Flyperbole,
how's his little toe doing?
His toe is healed. He's back. I think he's got to take it easy for one more week per the vet, but like he's out of the splint. He's running around like a maniac again and hopefully not going to break it again.
Is he capable of taking it easy for a week without the splint?
Much like I am not capable of saying it's been a while normally, right, Bruce is also not capable of taking it easy. That's just how we are. I actually snuck one in. So I was on the PHLY post game last night.
I noticed this. I heard that. And I was
the Detroit Red Wings game.
I knew you were going to get it in.
And I got it. I said it's been a while, but I said it like hilariously normally, where I just was like, it has been a while, but in my head I'm thinking like
yeah
I wanted to do it so
it's
bad.
Hard. It's like at this point it's just like an involuntary response, you know what I mean? It's just you have to do it that way, and if you don't, it's like you have to force yourself to not say it the fun way.
100%. And I actually had fun saying it the serious way. And, I get every time I'm on PHLY, I'm always like, well, this is the big professional podcast. I have to be on my best behavior. But I'm not on my best behavior. Like last night at one point, I literally spun around in the chair to point to the back of my Flyers jacket that said like quality hockey on it. I was actually a maniac last night because I got a late call to do the show. And I made like a double green tea because I was a little I had the day off, but I was still tired because that's how life is, especially in December. So I made like a double green tea for this thing, and I was pounding it throughout the game. So then it came time for post game, and I'm like, I'm like Cosmo Kramer out there, like, hey, buddy, we're going to talk about the Philadelphia Flyers now.
Your entire body's like vibrating. You're just like about to explode.
I had a lot of trouble going to sleep last night. The melatonin was fighting a losing battle.
Sometimes I'll have like a Celsius or something without even looking at the clock. And then I'm just like, oh, fuck. And then I realize, like, dude, I'm not, like, I end up staying up to like 2:30. And it's
I'm lucky that didn't happen to me last night. It was
very
close. Because, you know, it's like, well, also, Bill and I get going, and that's a good back and forth.
Right.
So, and also, Scott Laughton, guys, Scott friggin' Laughton scored 4 goals in a game for the Philadelphia Flyers. Unbelievable. How can you not be jazzed up? How can you not be just completely crazed after seeing a performance like that?
You know, Scott Laughton, Austin Matthews, 4 goals, 1 game. What's the difference? Honestly, they're the same player. If you have 2 photos next to each other of Scott Laughton and Austin Matthews, it's the same photo, Steve. It's
Corporate crazy. Needs you to identify the difference between these photos. They're the same.
You
picture.
Can't do it. It's the same photo.
It's the same photo. Yeah, Scott Laughton, man.
Good for him.
Number one,
I'm stoked for him.
Let's put the caveat out there. 2 of them were empty netters. Sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, folks. It's 4 goals for a 4th liner. Okay. That's some crazy nonsense. And like Scott Laughton, you went from 3 goals to 7 goals overnight.
In one
literally.
Night. Yeah.
And as you were saying, you are just stoked for the guy. Like, there's nobody on the Flyers that you feel better about doing this than Scott Laughton, because he is the heart and soul of the team. He is, like, the video of him going into the locker room afterwards and everybody being completely jazzed for him.
Yeah. They're like huddled around him, all clapping, like, and they do it 2 times, not just one, they do it twice. And like, just his, we got the 4 booms, boom, boom. Like, it was really, really fun. And just like, you can tell how much everybody loves him. Everyone in that locker room loves him. And so, naturally, after a game like last night, especially after, Scott Laughton's name being thrown around in the rumor mill for a while in terms of trades, people are probably thinking, oh man, oh baby, he's getting that trade value up. But it's just like, after you see the locker room and how much they love and adore him, he's not going anywhere. At this point, I've just accepted he's going to be a Flyer for life. He's going to be the head coach. He's actually going to be the next head coach instead of John Tortorella. Like, once they're done with John Tortorella, Scott Laughton's going to be the player coach.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
That's as old school as it gets. Like, that is some 1970 shit, like Gordie Howe stuff right out there. So I'm cool with it. I mean, he really is the heart and soul of the team. Like, he's a genuinely good guy, and he's Gritty's best friend. And I don't want to see him traded at this point, because number one, you would never get enough value for what he is. Like, we know he's a 4th line player. Okay. Maybe a 3rd line player, but he's not like a consistent, like, top of the lineup guy. And that's never been his game, but it's especially the case now. But that's okay, because you're always going to need guys for the bottom of the lineup, right? Like, always. You always need guys at the bottom of the lineup. And you always need good guys in the locker room to help steer the younger players as they go along. And like, Scott Laughton's not an old man, but he's as close to an elder statesman as they have on this team.
Yeah. On this team, he's an old man. On other team, on the Penguins, he'd be like the youngest guy on the team. But
that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's an old ass team.
One thing I will say about last night was I loved how, it's him and Garnet Hathaway going in on the empty net. And he's like, I already got 3. I'll pass it to Hathaway. And Hathaway's like, fuck you. You're scoring 4. Like, I don't think the puck was on Hathaway's stick for like even half a second. He was just like, fuck that. It's going to you. Score that 4th goal. Get Joe Thornton excited. Let's do it. And so, like, it was just it just goes to show like the kind of guy he is, the kind of teammate he is. And I mean, we heard it after the game, like Sean Couturier saying he's like the best teammate I've ever had. He's just so respected by everybody. And, it's just in a way, do I think that like Flyers fans perhaps take Scott Laughton for granted? I kind of do. He's also not like, let me kind of say this also, like, it's not like he's this incredible, like all-star player, perennial all-star that puts up 30 goals a season, 70 assists a season. Like, he's not, like, statistically, he's not, the most important guy on the team. But like in terms of his leadership, which is something we don't really see that much, but like the way everyone talks about him, and just like, again, that video, it's evident. It's evident that he means a whole lot to this team, to this city, to the organization. And so, yeah, it's just cool. I'm glad he had a night like last night.
I'm really glad he had a night last night. And I think that's one of the cool things about this team. Like, you know, we know this isn't a team that is a contender, right? This isn't a Stanley Cup team. This is probably not even a playoff team. I mean, they're technically in a playoff spot as we speak right now on Friday the 13th in the afternoon, but they're not, you know, expected to make the playoffs. They're likely not a playoff team. But regardless, they're really doing a nice job of building the culture in the locker room and building a really good room, because we've seen the excitement these guys have for each other. And, you know, you can make you can have some umbrage with like the fact that they might not necessarily like fight guys over each other and everything. I don't think that's quite the vibe this team has. And I don't know if that's quite modern NHL hockey, if we're being honest, but these guys genuinely do love each other, and like they will play their asses off for each other. And we saw this in preseason with the way they would pick up for Michkov, and their excitement for Michkov, even just scoring preseason points, was awesome. And now to see this reaction to Scott Laughton, like these are guys that will, you know, they might not necessarily like fight with their fists for each other, but they will go to war on the ice for each other. And it's cool. Like it's a good culture. And like, we think back a couple of years ago when Mr. Gauthier did not want to come here. Well, he wanted to come here, but the Flyers said this isn't a good time because the culture in the room is not good. It's really bad culture. Yeah, Tony DeAngelo, Kevin Hayes was unhappy with the relationship with John Tortorella. There was a lot of bad stuff going on. It was not a good time for him to come over. And it's a shame that he's such a punk about it, because this is a great room to bring somebody into, you know, and they're really building a great culture around here.
Right. Yeah. No, like this is a great locker room right now because everyone seems to be pretty tight knit. And like, listen, I remember during the Giroux days, like, always they talked about how tight that locker room was and this and that. And I feel like that drove a lot of the fan base crazy because it's just like, all right, cool. You guys are friends and buddies. Can we get some fucking wins here? And like,
please.
Yeah. And so now, like, it's nice that the locker room is as tight as it is right now, because at a time where wins aren't like all that important. Like, do they want to win every game? Of course they do. Like, you don't want to go into a game thinking, oh, we're good, you know, like, who cares if we win or lose? Like, you want to try and win every game. But like, it's good to know that right now the locker room is tight while they have all these young guys as they're kind of like, you know, like blooming into NHL players. And they're all doing it together. And I think that goes a long way in terms of development and just kind of the formation of what the team's future core will be.
And that's the most important thing, is this future core. Yeah. And I think a lot goes into having this nice locker room to show these guys how it's done, especially Matvei Michkov, who is going to be a leader on this team in the future. You know, it's going to be a few years before he has that role, but it might not necessarily be that long. It might just take until he masters the English language, because our little Matvei is a fireball. Okay.
He's got like a lot of TK ass to him. Like, he is an asshole on the ice, and I love it. I think it's great.
Can you imagine in the future if you have like TK and Denver Barkey and Matvei all playing together?
It would be amazing.
That's a jerk store line right there. That's like all jerk store.
I need a jerk store line.
Like,
really, really, really bad. Like, that's not something I want. Like, that's a necessity for me. So that's non-negotiable.
100%.
So
Matvei, though, oh my God. I was saying this a little bit to Bill yesterday, but like, I wasn't sure what to expect out of him attitude-wise coming in, because you kind of heard some stuff out of the KHL. He might have been a little bit of a prima donna or something like that. And like, that ain't the case. This dude is a pistol. He's getting in the corner. He's mucking it up. He's getting in guys' faces. He is not backing down. So first thing I want to bring up, and this is amazing, was the water bottle thing. Okay.
I was about to say. So like, that whole thing, like, he's a rock star. He knows he's a rock star.
He's a rock star in a way that I don't know if we've had a Flyers rock star since like Lindros. Like, Drew Drew like could have been, but he didn't quite have the attitude to be that. And believe me, Claude Drew had his moments. Like he did the gladiator thing at the Stadium Series game, but like I don't know if Claude Drew ever had like anything like what Michkov has here. Like he is a true rock star, and he's made a name for himself at 19, 20 years old in a market that doesn't really necessarily pay that much attention to hockey. I think everybody in Philadelphia, sports wise, knows who Matvei Michkov is.
Right. Yeah. And I think he understands that he's the face of the Flyers. There's no doubt about that. And he knows it. And he's just kind of feeding into that. And so like, you know, he's mucking it up after the whistles. Like because he knows like, I'm not saying he does that because he knows it gets the fans like riled up, but like it does. And the fans love it when he does that. And then he's going off the ice and after getting a game misconduct and he's signing water bottles for people on the way down the tunnel. It's just like, he doesn't care. He's doing what he's going to do because he's Matvei fucking Michkov and he can. And I love that. I love the confidence. I love that superstar attitude. Do like, you know, and you just mentioned, you know, the word prima donna, like maybe that's perhaps how he acted in the KHL. Obviously we don't want him to be a prima donna, but like, if this is how he was in the KHL, and I mean, this is it, dude, fuck yeah. This is perfect. This is what we want. We want a guy who oozes confidence, who oozes that star mentality. And I want that to rub off on the rest of the team. I want everyone on the Flyers to be like, yeah, we don't give a shit. We're the shit. And we're going to beat the socks out of every team that we face because we are them. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like he's just got this swag about him. He's got this swagger about him that just Flyers historically lack, you know, and the NHL in general kind of lacks this. So he could be a shot in the arm for not just the Flyers, but the sport of hockey in general, which is so cool to think about because he is a stud and he knows it. And the water bottle thing was just badass. Like
it was great.
And people didn't realize it till like afterwards. And then it blew up, and it was actually a cool thing on his part too, because essentially what happened was the fan had asked him to sign it earlier. And I think it was a Russian fan too, right? Like somebody who asked him. I think that was the case. I could be wrong.
I didn't know.
They asked him to sign it, and then he was like, "I'll do it later." And then as soon as he's headed out, he's like, "All right, let's do it."
He actually did it later.
Yeah, and then Tortorella didn't even find out about it until like a day later or something.
Yeah, I saw Jackie from the Inquirer was like, "Did you see about the water bottle?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Yeah, he signed it off. He signed a water bottle for a fan when he was going off for the game misconduct." He's like, and the way he responded, he was like amused by it. Like he wasn't mad about it. He thought it was like, you could tell like his tone and everything. He thought it was kind of funny.
That's the other amazing thing is that Tortorella Michkov relationship that we were all terrified about. We were all super worried about how Tortorella and Michkov were going to play with each other. And so far, I mean, I think it's been really good. I mean, they had the scratches, but Michkov really took it in stride. He didn't seem to have an issue. He's played amazing since then. And I mean, Tortorella, he seems to get it, you know, he seems to encourage it. So there was Michkov tried to do the Michigan again in the Detroit game.
Yeah.
And he almost got it. He came really close.
So close.
So there's a quote that we saw earlier, and I thought I had put it in. Okay, well, I can get it off Blue Sky right there. But yeah, I had put it in our sheet, so I just have to pull it up right here. So Kevin Kurz had posted this from The Athletic. So Tortorella, this is all Tortorella quote right here. "Yeah, I've lost the battle, right? I don't think it should be in our game, but I've lost that battle. I've talked to him earlier in the year when he was doing it every time. It was just turnovers. The thing I want Mish to understand is he's such a good player moving a puck and passing a puck. When he's behind the net, he's dangerous to make plays. What am I going to do? Say don't do it? What did I say? What I did was I said you need to understand that there are other plays to be made there too, because a number of the times he tried it early in the year, all they got were turnovers. So yeah, I've lost the damn battle with that. Yeah. I'm not going to try to fight it. I don't think it should be in our game, but it is what it is," which is amazing to have John Tortorella say that, because John Tortorella is like the ultimate. Like when you think of John Tortorella, you think about a guy who does not give ground. You think about a guy who it's my way or the highway, which I inadvertently quoted Fred Durst right there, which we'll get into later in the show, sadly. But, you know, Tortorella is a guy that you always think of as like very strict, this is how the game is played. You have to do it this way. And we've seen him just kind of not soften, but like accept Matvei Michkov for who he is.
Right.
Which is awesome because this is what the Flyers need. Like he understands that this guy is the future of the franchise. And I think Michkov also understands that Tortorella can give him a lot of knowledge about how to play this game the right way for the NHL. And so far, this marriage is working.
It's working. And like, I mean, just look at his numbers. He's basically a point per game player right now. I think technically now he is like just 1 point shy of being a point per game player, but rest assured, he's essentially a point per game player. And he's doing that as a freshly turned 20-year-old. Like he's a rookie in the NHL. Like he's very much the favorite, knock on wood, to win the Calder. I know Macklin Celebrini's kind of narrowing that gap a little bit.
Celebrini's very good. And he's the one guy I can accept beating Michkov for the Calder because Celebrini's awesome. Mm-hmm. I will not accept Logan Stankoven beating.
No,
him.
I think Stankoven's I think he's fallen down enough.
Stankoven also, he plays for the Dallas Stars. They're one of the top 5 teams in the league. Like,
right.
I don't accept this. The Rookie of the Year can't come from one of the best teams in the league.
Right, like,
it has to be one of these garbage teams like us or the Sharks.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it has to be like the rookie who comes in and completely changes the team. And right now it's both Celebrini and Michkov doing that. So yeah, I don't know, but it's exciting. It is working. It is the Tortorella Michkov, marriage is working quite well. And, do I think that it would work long-term? Not sure about that, but I do think it is making a valuable difference right now at this stage in Michkov's career. So I think, at some point, maybe, some of Tortorella's tactics wouldn't fly with him. But like, listen, you mentioned it earlier, like the scratches, he took it in stride. And I think with Michkov, like when you're scratching someone like him at their age and, they have that skill level, I think as long as you communicate like properly to them, like, listen, we're going to scratch you. Okay. Don't take this the wrong way. We're literally doing this for reasons X, Y, Z. And we think that this will help you. Like, and that's why, like, I feel like that's how you have to kind of deliver that news. You don't just say like, you're fucking benched. See you after the road trip. You know what I mean? So I don't know, like it seems like it's working really, really well, and we'll see, what the rest of the season holds. But like, I don't think there's any other takeaway aside from, damn, this is really cool. And it's a pleasant surprise, especially considering the kind of narrative that was surrounding the whole Michkov Tortorella union earlier on in the season.
And Michkov's numbers, you mentioned that he's nearly at a point per game pace, which is amazing. He's got 11 goals. So there is a real possibility that in his rookie season, he could have 30 plus goals, which is tremendous. Yeah. We were talking before the season started in the BSH Slack about like what kind of points to expect out of Michkov. And we were trying to really temper our expectations. And I remember we were thinking like, if he gets in the high 40s, that'll be good.
Yeah.
The dude's already at 27 points.
Yeah.
So I unless he falls off a cliff, 20, I think in the late 40 or the high 40s is like definitely going to happen. If he scores like 60, 70 points or more in his rookie season, that's a tremendous success for this franchise. And it fills me with joy. Like, I think I had a little trouble early in the season, kind of equating like wins and losses and everything with the success, even though I mentally prepared myself coming in. I was still having a little trouble. I am now more accepting of the fact that it's all about what he does in this season.
It doesn't, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. It's whatever, like you just want to see Michkov come in, look good, and continue getting better. And that's the most exciting thing about this season so far, is that he's improving as the season goes on. Like earlier on, like he would, like I remember he had a couple like scoreless droughts, and right now, like, yeah, he didn't score against the Red Wings, but like he came damn close. And
he came so close. There were two occasions, because that Michigan just missed, and that one timer.
Yes,
Cam Talbot. Hats off to Cam Talbot.
He was really good last night. Yeah.
Cam Talbot had a tremendous game. The dude is old as hell, especially for an NHL goaltender. To do what he did And hey, he's got really good numbers for the Red Wings, which is like crazy considering what a journeyman that guy is. But that save he made on Michkov was it was so good. Like hats off to him. But the thing is, like, Michkov was making plays where he should have scored.
Right. And he's been making plays. And that's, I mean, we just saw him go on like a 4-game string of multi-point games. Like he's producing points like as close to at will as you can say for someone his age. And so that's encouraging. That's exciting. Like it seems like he's figuring things out. And and perhaps some of those points are luck. I think he has a couple secondary assists in there, but that's whatever. That's how it goes.
Some of those secondary assists, though, are just as good as primary assists because he really sets the pace, the offensive pace for this team in a way that they haven't had since Giroux. I think Travis Konechny is a fantastic offensive player, but he doesn't have the vision that somebody like Michkov or Giroux has, where they do see the play a couple plays ahead. Like they can see where it's developing. They can see where the puck needs to go to make a goal happen.
Right.
And Michkov brings a different dimension from Giroux, where Giroux, his biggest problem was he needed a finisher. Michkov can kind of do it all. Like he can set it up, but he can finish it also. So I think the challenge is just finding more players who can play around his level, because right now you've got Konechny's doing a good job of it. I think Owen Tippett's actually worked out really well.
Better. Yeah, he's kind of improved significantly.
I like that they finally have a set top 2 lines right now.
Yeah.
Like I think that's really helping these guys develop some chemistry. And the fact that Tippett at least has the speed to keep up with Michkov. Tippett doesn't always finish like you want him to. Tippett doesn't always make the smartest play out there, but you know what? He's got speed for days. And it's helping Morgan Frost too. I know I think the last time we talked, we were talking about trading Morgan Frost any day now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we want Morgan Frost to succeed. And I don't know if he's necessarily putting up numbers right now doing that, but he's at least like contributing more to the team than he was previously playing with these guys. It's a good use of Morgan Frost talents, but it's also people who are complimenting Matvei Michkov in a way that when he was playing with the third liners, he wasn't getting.
Right. Yeah. I do want to kind of talk about Morgan Frost a little bit here, because I kind of want to gauge where you are with him, because, it wasn't long ago where he had that absolutely brutal turnover that pretty much led to the game losing goal for the Flyers. I can't remember who they were playing against.
Was it Utah?
Utah.
Yeah, I literally saw that. It made the ESPN Sports Center not top 10.
Miserable. And, now we're starting to see him put up a little more points. This is his time, Steve. It's December. He always seems to come alive in December for some insane reason.
Does somebody put a magic hat on him and like a corncob pipe, and he swirls about, and then, hey, everybody, happy birthday. Morgan Frost is going to play hockey.
He's just stoked for Santa to come. He's got to be a good boy. So he starts putting up some points, hoping that, Santa sees. I don't know. I don't know what happens to him during December, but like, seems like he's starting to be a little more involved in terms of point production. What do you think of Morgan Frost? And it kind of, do you think anything has changed regarding his long-term fit with the Flyers?
No, I still don't think he's a good long-term fit. Yeah. Like I want him to succeed, but I've kind of given up on him succeeding here. That said, if he does surprise me, cool. But like, I think of him different than like a Jamie Drysdale, for instance, where like, Drysdale's a guy I'm willing to give a little bit more patience to because of the learning curve with NHL defense. I think NHL defense takes a lot to learn. If Morgan Frost would just be better consistently offensively, like I could forgive the defensive gaffes, to be honest. Yeah. Right now he's sitting at 12 points, 4 goals, 8 assists in 26 games played, and he's playing with Owen Tippett and Matvei Michkov. So if he was doing more offensively, I could forgive a lot of that. I think you do need to upgrade from Morgan Frost at some point. I'd trade him for Dylan Larkin today if I could. Obviously, I'd like to go younger, but like Larkin at least is a guy in his prime right now who could help your team today. Not that this is the window to succeed, but you know what I mean? Like, I think you just need to move on from Frost at some point. My perception has not changed.
Yeah. I don't think a Frost for Larkin trade will ever happen. But
it's Frost and Risto for Larkin.
Clearly. There you go. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm actually very hesitant to trade Risto at this point because not very hesitant, but
yeah,
I have a price now.
You're thinking, you've like pondered, like, should we keep him? Like,
should we keep him around? Like last night, I kept noticing him in multiple and all season really, and he's been a positive player for this team. He has been a good defensive player. Like he pinned a dude against the boards last night, like to cut off play as they were entering the offensive zone. They've actually got like the makings of a solid defense right now, and it's really cool to see. Like, Emil Andre has been fantastic. Risto's been like solid. Sanheim's been awesome, and York made a really smart play last night when the Red Wings were trying to get into the offensive zone, and he just poked the puck back out, which is like a breath of fresh air after seeing the Flyers from the late like 10 to 20s there, when they would just allow guys to come like all the way into the net and then try to block the damn shot.
Cam York is such an interesting player because I remember coming out like his draft year when the Flyers took him, everyone was comparing him to what's his name? Hall of Famer for the Rangers, defenseman.
Oh, Brian Leetch.
Everyone was
old ass Brian Leetch.
Yeah, everyone's saying he's a Brian Leetch clone and this and that. He's gonna put up all these points. He's not like that at all. He's turned out to be much, much, much better defensively than I think anybody thought he was going to be,
and not quite as high tempo offensively as we expected.
Yeah, but he's got a good balance. He's turned out to be a pretty well balanced defensive player, and listen, I'm very okay with that.
Oh, I'm very okay with that too. I think him and Sanheim have really good chemistry on that top pairing. I really like them together. Like, is it a perfect NHL top pairing? No. But you know what? You could do a lot worse, and we've seen a lot worse, and I like it. I think they're a really good top pairing together.
Right. Yeah. It's been fun. It's been fun watching them play together. It's been fun. Honestly, it's been fun watching Risto too.
Because this is when Chuck Fletcher first traded for him, this is what you envisioned. I mean, I think I would envision a little bit more for like the assets he gave up and the contract he signed him to. But at the very least, like, he's helping clear the crease. He's making smarter plays. He can stick handle a little bit. He can go into the offensive zone. Like, he's doing a little bit of everything. And it's just because Tortorella and Brad Shaw have really reinvented his game and helped him relearn the position, basically, which is
right.
It is unbelievable. Like, I really kind of am sad that the rest of the NHL doesn't recognize some of the coaching that's going on here and doesn't recognize it in the awards and everything, because like they are truly doing some amazing things with this roster. Because they're kind of just like Ristolainen was a guy that I think you couldn't even fathom trading a year or two ago. And now we're talking like, can we get a first round pick for Rasmus? Do we even want to trade him at this point? Because he is an effective defenseman.
Right.
And Cam York has come leaps and bounds on defense. And Nick Seeler has turned from the trash heap into a solid NHL player. And now Jamie Drysdale had 3-4 weeks off. And the theory that a lot of people have is that he wasn't actually hurt for all of it. A lot of it was like relearning the game in some respects. And he's looked a lot better since he came back. Obviously, you're going to need a bigger sample size than what we have. But if he can turn also into a solid defenseman, not necessarily like the superstar they thought they were trading for, but if he could turn into just a solid right-handed defenseman, I'll be very happy. And that's just more great coaching from Tortorella and Shaw right there.
Yeah. Like Jamie Drysdale is one of those guys that I think is really, really like, he has the potential to really change this team like completely. Just because we've seen what he's capable of. We know that he's a great skater. We know that he can put up points. We saw him do it earlier on in his career in Anaheim, but it did feel like he was rushed into the NHL and he didn't have to be. Maybe now he's kind of starting to turn that corner a little bit. And granted, like, it's only been 3 games since he returned to the lineup. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but like, if the Jamie Drysdale that we've seen over the last few games is what we get from him the rest of the season, that's exciting. That's good. And the points will come for him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe he won't be some sort of like, 60-point defenseman, but like you don't need to be that. We just want to see like a good offensive-minded puck-moving defenseman. Like we don't need to get it too crazy here. Baby steps here with Jamie Drysdale, and I think we're seeing that right now.
Yeah, if we could have 2 puck-moving power play quarterback defensemen, I'd be very happy because I really love what I've seen from Emil Andre in that respect. And
I know he was scratched for the Thursday night game, but like whatever, who cares? Like I think he's getting valuable experience. I think he's making some serious progress in terms of his development. So I've loved what I've seen from both of them. I think both of them have a serious future with the Flyers.
I do too. I really feel that way. And like, I think Zamula needed some time to get back in the lineup. I think Andre needed a night off, but I see a big time future with the Flyers for Andre, whereas like Zamula is like, I like you, Igor, but I don't love you, Igor. Right. So I think it's time to just kind of, he run along with him for a little bit, right? But I just don't think he's a guy who's in the future plans for the Flyers. Whereas I think Andre really went from a guy who was on the bubble to, oh no, we've seen enough that we know you have that potential now to be a very good potential top 4 defenseman for this team.
Mm-hmm. Right. I agree.
Yeah. Love Emil Andre so far. And there's a lot of positives with this team right now. And I think one of the big questions we're asking ourselves right now is this a potential playoff team? I mean, again, it doesn't matter because the team ain't winning the cup, but I think all of us would like to see the playoffs. We haven't seen the playoffs. It's been a while since the playoffs, and we'd all like to see it. And we want to see what Michkov can do. We want to see playoff Risto. That's what it's all about. Honestly, the Flyers make it.
That's one of the reasons why they like. If there's one reason to not trade him, it's just because I want to see it one time. I just want to see him in the playoffs and see if it's actually true. This fabled playoff Risto.
The rumors are true. Playoff Risto is upon us.
I would love to see him in the playoffs.
I would love to see it too. So can they make the playoffs? I think they can, but will they is the big question. So right now, as of today, they are in the second wild card spot. They have 32 points in 30 games played. They're 4th in the Metro, but there's a big but here. The New York Rangers have severely underperformed to this point in the year. And I am skeptical that's going to continue for the rest of the year. I've been very skeptical of Washington's success, but they keep doing it.
Yeah, they keep winning. It's weird. Like they don't even have Ovi right now. So it's just, I did not think the Capitals were going to be good. They've been really good. So.
Yeah. And at a certain point, they've built up enough of a lead that it's like, they're going to make the playoffs regardless. Just a matter of like where they finish. Like I'm still very skeptical that team with their makeup finishes like top of the conference or anything like that.
Right.
But I think at a certain point, like they clinch a playoff spot. So like they've done well enough that that's probably going to happen. Mm-hmm. But your big competition here right now, the Bruins, 33 points in 31 games played. Bruins have a big center problem. They fired their coach. Yeah. They have a lot of issues right now. And, their stars are older, but like, especially Marchand. Marchand's up there.
Yeah.
Pasternak's not having his best year either, which probably helps. It probably hurts him when you don't have Patrice Bergeron in there to help make some space for you.
Yeah.
So, the Bruins are a flawed team that are, they're going to hang around there, though. The Bruins are right around that spectrum. The Lightning are similarly flawed. I'd say they have better high-end talent with who they have there, especially with Kucherov and Vasilevsky. Gensel. Yeah, I forgot about Gensel.
They still have those names. They still have those big name players. And I feel like you can't be betting against the Tampa Bay Lightning until like I'm not going to bet against them until I have reason to. I still don't think I have reason to bet against the Lightning yet. So I think they're going to be in there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really think that's a team that's going to be in there. And I think the Rangers probably turn it around, to be honest, because I don't know. I'm skeptical about their struggles so far. I think the Rangers still are a very good hockey team. I don't think they should be panicking. They have one of the best goaltenders in the game, at least until they lock them down. Well, they locked them down to that contract, right? It was a pretty big cap hit.
Yeah.
But, they have a lot of great pieces. Adam Fox is fantastic. I think the Rangers turn around. The Islanders are, of course, hanging around because I don't understand. Talk about teams I don't understand. I don't understand how the Islanders are successful. They're trash, but they're right around that point too. The Penguins, they're old as hell. I think they fade. I think they're going to miss it. Mm-hmm. And I think the Senators are big time flawed. I think they're going to miss it too. But it's a tough area to kind of like differentiate yourself in. So the Flyers are going to have to play a lot of good hockey if they want to make the playoffs. I don't even know if I fully want them making the playoffs. They've got 3 first-round picks. This is a great opportunity. This is a good draft coming up. Like,
right.
Let's get some young talent in there. But man, I like seeing Michkov succeed. I think he really likes succeeding. Mm-hmm. Well, he definitely likes it because that dude is fiery. Like, that is a guy who
he wants to win. He hates losing. And we heard about that since before he even came to the NHL. So, like, he despises losing. He wants to win every game, which, like, I think you should have that mentality if you're in the NHL. Like, if you don't, what the hell are you doing? But, like, he wants to win. He wants to go to the playoffs. And cool. Show me. Let's see it. Let's see you during, like, the heat of the playoff push. I want to see if he ups his game. And if he does, oh, baby, do we got a player.
Oh, baby, do we have a player? Oh, yeah, I'm getting myself fired up just thinking about all this stuff. So, yeah, I don't know if they're going to make it. It's going to be a tough battle through the second half of the season, but I like the makeup a lot right now. If they can figure out the center position a little bit better, because I think the defense, they've got a lot of strong pieces. I think they're figuring out defense a lot more. Center's still their biggest weakness, and goaltender's a weird one right now. Sam Ersson, I'm really hoping for a healthy second half from Sam Ersson.
Yeah.
Because this is a big year for him. Like, this is the 1 year he's got where he's like the undisputed number 1.
Right.
Because Kolosov, again, he doesn't have the numbers right now, but he is the number 2. And he's shown us some great flashes. That save he made after the first goal last night. So Detroit, late in the game, they score to get on the board. It was a weird game. The Flyers were up 2-0. It felt like they were up like 5-0, but it was only 2. Detroit scores, and it's like, oh shit, they're right there. And then they almost scored again pretty quickly, but Aleksei Kolosov makes a fantastic glove save. Just super clutch stuff right there. And
he's made a few like highlight reel saves over the last weeks. Like, there was one, I can't remember which game it was. They all kind of blend together for me.
Oh, they sure do.
After a couple of weeks, I'm like, what game was that? But he made a save that it ended up being a goal anyway. But he made an incredible save that, like, it should not have been stopped, but he stopped it. And then, like, just the way that, like, the puck bounced, like, the other team ended up scoring like half a second later. But, like, amazing save that, like, he deserved credit for. Like, that goal was not on him. Not at all. It should have been a goal sooner, but he kept it out of the net. So he's made plays. He's been, and listen, we've been talking about, the whole Kolosov versus Fedotov situation for a couple of weeks. I'm glad that the Flyers seem to be leaning the way that they're leaning. Like, it seems like Kolosov, well, it doesn't seem like it. He is the number 2 goalie behind Ersson now. And I think he deserves it because I think he's been better than Fedotov. I think the Flyers kind of wanted to hand Fedotov this opportunity just to see what they had in him. And it just hasn't worked. But with Kolosov, it's been good. He hasn't been perfect, but he's young. He's a young kid, and it's exciting to see him playing this way, albeit not perfect, but he's playing well for the most part at a pretty early age. And I think that's really, really cool.
No, I agree with that. I really think that after signing Fedotov to that contract, you did have to give him that opportunity to really see what you had. And while he did put up some like numbers in the past few weeks that were pretty nice, like, overall, his style is still crazy.
Weird.
I can't figure it out at all, especially for a man of his size. And Kolosov has just had a solid, like, standard goaltending style. He's made some big saves. He's had some good athleticism.
He looks normal.
He looks normal. He looks like a goalie.
He is to look like goalies. I don't want them to look like they're breakdancing. I don't need that. Like, let's see.
I don't need that stress in my life.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. So
too much. Yeah. I don't want that kind of stress in my life. Dave Matthews or not. And I'm cool having Kolosov and giving him that opportunity at this point.
Yeah.
I really Sorry. Go ahead. If you have another Kolosov point, go on.
I just said he's earned it. He's earned it.
He has earned it. But the thing is also going back to Ersson, this is Ersson's opportunity. Like, he is the undisputed number one goaltender on this team. This might be the only chance he gets, though. So I hope he can stay healthy and show us what he's got, because if he's inconsistent with his health throughout the rest of the year, and I know he can't control that, but that's something the team's going to factor in, because they have other irons in the fire. They have other guys out there. Zavragin is a big one. He's putting up amazing numbers overseas. And Carson Bjarnason putting up good numbers. There are guys in the system that want this spot. They all want to be the starter. Okay. That was one of Kolosov's things, is like, he didn't want to come over here and waste his time in the AHL because he felt he was good enough to play at the NHL level. So Kolosov, like, whether it's warranted or not, has a lot of confidence in himself to be the starter on this team. So he's going to compete for that. Okay. Like, there are guys that want this job. So Sam Ersson, this is prime time, baby. So I hope he can stay healthy and show us exactly how good he is, because I really like him, and I think he's got a lot of talent.
Credit to Kolosov too, because I remember early, when the whole saga was going on in the offseason, we were thinking, who the hell is this kid to come in here and demand he's got an NHL spot, this and that. Like, no one was very happy with him. And, to his credit, he's backed himself up. Like, he's come in and he's looked good. It took him a little bit, but like, that's to be expected with a young goalie. Like, he had some bumps along the way, but he's been good. And I feel confident in him being the backup. I feel like you could put him in against a team on, second game of a back-to-back, and you're like, all right, we got a chance. You know what I mean? So really, really excited with what I've seen from him.
Yeah. Whereas when Fedotov, especially early in the season,
every time he plays.
Oh my God. Cause like that first game, which was Calgary, right? You're just like, what am I watching here?
It was weird.
And then it just got weirder and weirder. And we're thinking, if we're going to kill Sam Ersson, if he's going to have to play the entire season like this, I thought he was going to die. So I'm glad he's not, hopefully he's going to be A-okay for the rest of the season. But I want to see these two guys succeed this year. I really want to see what Ersson brings to the table, because this is a big season for him. Because he really fell off at the end of last season. Like, after those first, that great first half backing up Hart, he really just, when he became starter, he just couldn't. It was a lot of games. It's exhausting, especially at the NHL level.
And he was great early on. He was great early on, but it just caught up with him. Like, you cannot have that big a workload in the modern NHL. And so, like, I feel like he hasn't given me reason to be like, nah, he can't be a number one. Like, I haven't seen that yet. The problem with him is injuries. Like, and it's not serious injuries either. It's these little things that keep him out for like 2 weeks, and then he comes back. Like, stay healthy, and let's see you, with, we can lean on the backup a little bit. Let's see you for a full season without like having any little minor nicks and bruises. Let's see it. And I think he has the ability to be a number one. It's just, I need to see it without any interruption.
Right. Without any interruption. I want to see like a couple months go by of him being the guy for the Flyers. Cause I think he can be, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I agree. I think he can. I really do.
Yeah. But exciting times, folks. Exciting times to be a Flyers fan right here. And come on and join the bandwagon here. If you've been, wavering a little bit, come on board. Okay. The water's fine. I guess that's not what you say when it's on board. You don't want water on the ship, but you know what? Come on in. The water's fine. There we go. We're in the pool. It's a heated pool, and it's just the party's going to get more fun. Okay. It's a Michkov mania. You want to join in on this?
There's never a better time than right now, folks. There's no expectations. It's beautiful. You don't have to have any expectations. You can just enjoy the ride.
Right. Like it's a big problem with like being a Sixers fan right now, because the Sixers, you had all the expectations, and then to see the team struggle as they have with big names like Embiid and George being consistently hurt, it sucks. Okay. Even though like Jared McCain's come in and had a nice season so far, Maxi's still like putting up some good numbers. Like you can't be excited about those young guys because the team should be a competitor and they're not. Whereas the Flyers, you can just enjoy everything Michkov does because this team's not expected to do jack. So enjoy it. Okay. It's a lot of fun. And you know where you can come out and have a lot of fun watching the Philadelphia Flyers?
Where's that?
Oh, baby, come out to the BSH and PHLY Festivus party on the 23rd. It's a Festivus for the rest of us. We're going to be out at the pub at Xfinity Live. Used to be Bullies, used to be a Flyers themed bar, but now it's just the pub. I don't know why you get rid of the Flyers, but you know what? I ain't complaining because they're hosting our party. So whatever. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come on down. PHLY's co-hosting it with us. I know Bill.
Who are they?
Who are they? I've never heard of them. Yeah.
Never heard of them.
But I know they're doing some pre and post game stuff. We'll probably, I don't know what we're going to do podcast wise. I might air some grievances. We'll see. But even if I don't podcast, I'm going to be there. Okay. A bunch of the BSH crew are going to be there. I'm going to try and get some stickers printed up, some magnets. So we'll have some swag for people. And it's just going to be a good old fashioned good time right there. So come out. It's going to be Flyers Penguins too. All right. I know this ain't the rivalry it was a decade ago, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah. We still want to see Chris Letang cry. We still want to see Sidney Crosby cry. Oh, it's funny that I let off with Chris. I'm one of those weird people. You
really don't like Chris Letang, and I love it. That's one of my favorite things about you, Quigs, is that you have this hate for like weird guys. It's like Chris Letang, Columbus.
Yeah, it's weird. Like it's just, I just fucking hate Letang. So
it's the hair.
It's the hair. It's his face. He just looks like someone who thinks he's better than you.
Yeah, he looks a little smug.
He's fucking French. Fuck off. But sorry about that, Steve Jacot.
Stephen Jacot is very upset with your slander of the French.
But it'll be a great time to see Flyers Pens. Listen, it's not like you said, it's not the rivalry it was, but it's always a good time. So
we all hate Sid the Kid. Like we respect him, but we hate him. So
yeah, we do.
It's gonna be a fun game too. I mean, Flyer, now that the playing field's been leveled a little bit, thankfully Father Time has leveled the playing field for the Flyers. And I think this is Michkov's first game against the Penguins.
This is Michkov versus the Penguins for the first time. How fun would it be if he got his first Hattie as an NHL player against
right in Malkin's face?
Oh, it would be incredible.
Right in Malkin's face.
Now I'm excited for this game. I can't wait.
Let's go. We're all about it. So come on out to the Festivus party again. That's on December 23rd. That's at the pub at Xfinity. It's going to be a blast. So, oh, wow. How about that? Yeah, I could say the oh, wows back in the Owen Wilson voice, too. I filmed something. We did a comedy sketch a couple weeks ago, and my first line in that thing is, oh, wow. And the guy writing it, like, number one, he didn't write it with me in mind.
Right.
And they don't listen to the podcast. They don't know my history with that. So it's just funny when I'm reading the script and I'm like, okay, I have to not say this as Owen Wilson.
In your voice.
Like the first line is, oh, wow, carolers. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. Oh, wow. Carolers. Oh, wow, carolers.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I'm telling you, again, it's like just an automatic response at this point.
So. Podcast infects your brain.
It does.
It's insanity, but that's what we're here for. That's what we provide. And guess what? We're going to end. I almost opened it on this note, but I wanted to, since we hadn't put one out in a couple of weeks, I wanted to start off, give the people some actual hockey to talk about. And then at the end, we bring in the Flype nonsense. We're going to end on the Flype nonsense here. And that's our dear friend, Freddie Durst right here. Not that, I was ever going, this is a role model that we should all follow or anything. But, it's just disappointing to see that Fred Durst has fallen to Elon Musk's media machine here. And he put out a tweet the other day and said, thank you, Elon Musk, for making a quality X snapback. Felt the urge to pull over in my Tesla Model X to spread the love.
Oh, God.
Freddie, come on, my guy. Number one, Fred. You're betraying your own brand with the snapback instead of the fitted. Come on. Come on.
I don't know what he's doing.
And number two, how dorky is it to wear a hat for a social media site? Come on. Get out of here.
Insane. Now, I will give him this. He wasn't in a Cybertruck. So
he wasn't. I will say design-wise, the base Tesla is much better than the Cybertruck, which I said on Blue Sky a couple weeks ago that the Cybertruck just looks like a Star Fox SNES graphic. Basically, it's just blocky. It looks like 16-bit pixels. It's hideous.
The base Teslas, I really don't mind them. It's like I don't hate them.
What I do hate, besides number one, the association with Elon Musk, and also the ridiculous. I don't know, just like the fact that they could trap you in there and fire and all that. The door handles on those things are one of the worst design.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah.
If you've never been in a Tesla before, and I'm seeing this increasingly when I get Ubers around the city, is Teslas. People are showing up in them. I guess they're just more out there to be able to rent from car rental services. You have to push in on the handle, and then like a handle opens up that you can pull. Yeah. Like it's so like over designed. It's like
just do a handle.
Yeah. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. That's obnoxious, but for the most part, those are like fine. I don't care about those. It's just the Cybertrucks. And like
Cybertruck.
I made the trip down from Philly I'm in Richmond right now.
In a Cybertruck.
So
you were in a Cybertruck convoy, right?
I sure did. I led the whole crew, Steve. I was on my way down for the holidays, and I saw like 3 Cybertrucks on 95, and I'm like, there's more of them. They're multiplying, Steve. It's really bad.
Can you imagine just like showing up to the dealership and like, that blocky piece of shit, that's what I want. Give me a Cybertruck.
Like, I can't even imagine telling someone that I want a Cybertruck.
Oh God,
it's incredibly cringe, just the idea, just the thought of saying that.
I can't even say it as a joke. Like I'm thinking about saying it as a joke. I'm like barfing a little bit in my mouth just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's it's crazy. I don't know what the allure is, but
I don't know what the allure is either. Like, I could get a cool truck. Well, not that trucks are cool, but you know, like I could get a functional truck, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like, or I could get this thing that like I don't think any god has ever wanted to exist.
No, it's miserable. Can't stand it. It's an eyesore. It looks like a door wedge.
It does.
Keep a door open.
It 100% looks like a door wedge. Yeah,
it's really dumb. And if you have Cybertruck and you listen to this podcast, why? Let us know. Let us know. We'd love to hear it.
And send me a screenshot of Flyperbole on that giant onboard computer thing
on your Cybertruck. That'd actually be funny.
Yeah, I would get the custom Flyperbole Cybertruck.
Yeah,
our friend the rat in Cybertruck form.
That's right. I think it'd be funny.
But you know, Fred decided that his way was the highway and shelled out for Tesla advertising right there.
Well done, Steve. Well done.
Thank you. I haven't talked about Fred Durst in a couple of weeks, so I'm glad I got that out of my system there. So here we are. That's what I'm thankful for. 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, there we go. All right, folks. Well, we're going to wrap this sucker up, but thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for being patient with us, but we're back, and you should be getting regular flights through the rest of the season, but we'll see. You never know. All right, folks. We love and appreciate you all. If you have any feedback for us, the best place is social media. You can find me over at Blue Sky. I'm still on Twitter/X. I'm not really checking that shit anymore. So follow me on Blue Sky. It's the Flyperbole, or at Esteban. If it's for hockey purposes, make it Flyperbole. Also Flyperbole over on TikTok. And well, that still lasts. See what happens there. Yeah. And Instagram. Quigs, where can people find you on the socials?
Ryan Quigs with the Z, thank you. And I'm about to ditch X. I'm done with X. So
God, yeah, big time goodbye.
Blue Sky, garbage. Blue Sky all the way.
Yeah, Blue Sky all the way. It's much cleaner and a lot more fun. All right, folks. Thanks so much for listening. Broad Street Hockey, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, in the words of the great Gene Hart, good night and good hockey. Wow, 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 wow.